Hey, it's Natalie with the Think Yourself Academy for part two of our self-care series. When does self-care becomes a bad thing? So yes, it's great to take care of ourselves. And if you watched or listened to or read last week's story, you can see that there's a problem there with me doing way too much self-care. I think I went to the other extreme, and now I need to figure things out because it's not always healthy to be in the moment, be present, and completely ignoring that the world continues to go while you're doing your self-care. There can be such a thing as too much self-care, and I'm the living proof because I hit a moment where I was pretty panicky. What happened? Because as you are away, the workload continues to accumulate. As you are doing your self-care, you're not working. You're not doing what you should be doing. And very often, there's a an area of the brain that gets triggered. So your amygdala, which is another part of the brain that we didn't talk about last week, which is very, very powerful. That amygdala, which is not part of that same area where we talked about gray matter and white matter and hypothalamus last week. It's right behind the ear, and its function is to pay attention and make sure that there are no threats, not only physical threats but also emotional threats. And being overloaded and having tasks to do is perceived as an emotional threat. So your amygdala gets hijacked, and it's a lot more powerful than the benefits that you had from your self-care. So all these beautiful benefits when you were taking care of yourself and spending time with friends get completely erased by your amygdala polluting you with all kinds of feel-bad chemicals when you feel that you are behind schedule and when you panic, and that's when you're no longer in a resourceful mode. So we need to find a way for the beautiful benefits in the cortex not to be ruined by the amygdala when we become too much behind schedule. So first step, when you are panicking, when you've done too much self-care, you are behind, you come back from a beautiful holiday and you're like, oh, I feel great, I feel refreshed, and then bang, you arrive at work and now that you've got millions of emails to respond to, and all of a sudden you go into panic mode. So the very, very first step is to breathe. Stop, take deep breath, and calm down. That's the very most first important thing you can do. So you need to breathe to become in a resourceful mode. Then you're going to make a list of all the things that you have to do. And on your list, you will include your self-care. So you'll make a list that you must also take care of yourself. So in my business trip, when I go on a speaking engagement, I need some time to review my presentation. I need some time to focus on my client. And I also need some time to have a good night's sleep. I need to set up what time I'm going to go to bed. Plus, I need to set up time to catch up on emails and to prepare for some future projects because the next week's presentation needs to be done as well. So I say, take a deep breath first and then make a list of all the things that you have to do. Then you're going to choose. You're going to focus on one thing. You're going to target and say, okay, now that I've made the list of all the things that I have to do, are there any that are not urgent? Are there any that can wait? And potentially, are there any that don't need to get done at all? That's possible, that sometimes we have things on our list or on our plate that should not be. And if the self-care that we do, like potentially we feel that we need to take longer breaks or longer lunchtime or whatever it is that we do, what is the middle? How do we choose that we will do some tasks for ourselves and some tasks for the work that we have to do to make sure that we're well balanced. And once you've made your selection and you choose what you will be focusing on, then you can plan it in your calendar and make sure that you schedule time for your work and you schedule time for your self-care. So feeling like dancing with your daughter in the kitchen, even though you have some work that you should be catching up on, will make it much easier because you will have planned that. You will know that from that time to that time every day, it is dedicated to spend time with your family. And maybe it's 3 nights a week, and maybe 2 nights a week you're allowed to work. I have some clients, one of them is a single mom of 2, and she just got a promotion, which is amazing. She's very excited about that. And she's a bit scared too, because she said, what if I need to, at the beginning, take double bites and I need to bring some work at home sometimes. So choose 1 or 2 nights a week. You tell your kids in advance, these 2 nights, mommy is going to be busy. And the other 3 nights, we're going to do things together. And then plan in advance that you will have your time for yourself and you will have time to do what it is that you have to do. So hopefully you enjoyed that segment on self-care. Continue to do it, not too much. And now you know what happens in the brain and why sometimes it impacts us. And you know absolutely all the benefits. And go rewatch part 1 if you've missed it, because there are tons of benefits of doing self-care.